In this video, we're going to take a piece of music here and we're going to add suspensions to it and show you how to write suspensions in music. They're probably the most challenging non-chord tones so far to add to music, so I want to show you this one in detail. I've got the music written here twice, and we're going to leave this one where it is and take this one and add suspensions to it so that you can compare them. First thing I'm going to do is play the excerpt for you so you get to hear it. Listen to it as it is with just chord tones before we add non-chord tones. Okay, and in this bottom version here, let's add non-chord tones. If we try to add one of everything, let's think first of all what the suspensions are. Each of them has an intervallic number, two numbers in fact, for the dissonance resolution. The top three voices can have three different types of suspensions. One is a 4-3, one is a 7-6. And because that 6 is there, that indicates a first inversion triad, so it's going to have to go above a first inversion triad, 7-6. And the other one is 9-8. A bass suspension is designated as a 2-3 suspension. We'll try to find that too. Okay, what is a suspension? It's a note that is suspended over, pulled in to the rhythm of the next chord, and then the chord tone is delayed and it comes in after the chord sounds. So we're going to extend one note and we're going to delay that next note. In other words, a suspension will happen on a chord at a chord change, and one of the tones will become eighth notes, and that chord tone will be moved over to the end of the beat while the previous tone is held. So because it's held over and resolves downward, we need to look for stepwise downward movement. There is a place we could put a suspension in soprano. Here's another place we could suspend the D over and make the C come in there. That would be a suspension. We couldn't put one here because it leaps up. We're looking for down by step. So we could put one in the tenor there. Any of the places that go down by step. So let me just arbitrarily decide to put one here, and I'm going to extend this C over, and it'll take me just a second to do that. I'm going to change that to an eighth note and then put C and then B natural there. Okay, what I did was the chord is B, D, F, and here you see the chord B, D, F, and this is the suspension. So we put in parentheses. Whoops. Let's try that again. There we go. Now we need to determine what kind of suspension it is. What is the interval from D up to C and then D up to B? And if you said 7-6, you are right. So we'll label it close to where the suspension is, close to the tenor voice. Let's try to get a 9-8 suspension in. It'll be one of the upper voices, needs to go down. And let's try it, actually it could go right there, but I've already got a suspension there. We might put it anyway and see if it works to put two suspensions at once. Let's try that. We're going to hold this over, and I'm going to change this to an eighth note and go E flat to D, and then this note will be the suspended note. So we put in parentheses, and here's the D. It's still dissonant with the D. This, I think this will work to have two suspensions at once. It's a double suspension. I probably wouldn't want you to do that in your writing, but let's try it here and see. I am improvising, as you can tell, so we'll put the 9-8 suspension up there by the soprano note. D is your chord tone, your bass note, and if we go up a ninth, we get to an E flat, and D up an octave, we get to D. That's how you get the 9/8. Yes, it's 2 octaves, but that doesn't matter. It's still designated 9/8 suspension. Okay, let's do a bass suspension. The only place the bass could have a suspension is where it goes down by steps. So here or here. Think either place will work. Let's do it here. In order to do that in Sibelius, I'm going to move that up and make it an 8th note and go G, F. So my bass note was F. I suspended the G over, split the chord into 2 rhythmic values, split the chord into 2/8, and this doesn't fit with D, F, A flat. This bass note is dissonant, so we cite that, put that in parentheses, and we need to label it. If you just want to learn, without really knowing why, that a bass suspension is always labeled 2/3, then go for it, do it. This actually, the nearest chord tone above it is the A flat, and if you think of it there, it's a 2nd, and that A flat is the nearest chord tone to it in the spelling, and it's a 3rd there, but you don't even have to understand that. Okay, one more. I want a 4/3 suspension. The most common place for a 4/3 suspension is above a dominant chord. It sounds so typical there and sounds very good there. So a 4th above G would be C. Do you see which voice it's going to go in? It's going to be a C moving to a B. So I'm going to take this C, repeat it there, and then move the B over here. And so the actual, I'll have quarter note C's, and then a B natural. So let's do that now. I can just repeat that note there and go B natural. Sorry, had the wrong panel up here on Sibelius. So C, B natural. There we go. Here's my suspension. And it's a 4/3 suspension. So let's label that there, and then let's listen to this and see what it sounds like. And since I'm just kind of doing this on the fly, I don't know what it'll sound like. So here we go. Let's play this.